Hey, Amy Barney here. Welcome. Do you ever feel like maybe you're not achieving your potential, you're holding back, you're not living the things that you want to do, living your dreams, and possibly because you worry about what others think? I think this is such a common problem. I think most people, to a certain extent, to a certain level, worry about what others think. And I actually have been talking a lot about this with my husband and, working on this myself as an issue. And it's surprising sometimes, even though I think I'm working through this, that I still struggle with what other people think about me. So I have these 10 tips. And by the way, if this is something that is helpful for you, just stick around or message me. I do have a list of sources, 4 really good sources of tips. I mean, they were all amazing. And just shoot me a message and I'll send that to you. But let's get started. So one of the sources, Gary Vee, he was talking about, and I love what he has to say. To have a winner's mentality, you have to stop caring what other people think. And this is so hard, you guys. I have been working on this for 5 years in my business, and I still struggle with it from time to time. And I'm going to share some personal examples that keep popping up. And it comes from our childhood, really, a lot of it. But we're going to get to some of these tips. He says you got to get quiet in your own head. So many people make big life decisions based on other people's opinions. And you care so much about what your mom, dad, brother, friend, sister, all think about what you're doing, and you're letting it dictate your life. At the core of it, the barriers that so many people have aren't really about money or time. They're about people's opinions. It's the biggest reason so many people are unhappy right now, because they value someone else's opinion over their own. Now, I get it. We are hardwired to fit in. We need to belong to a tribe. And part of that is, we got to be like others to a certain extent. And so we worry about what others may think, because it is in our DNA to fit in and be part of a tribe. But here are some tips. Number 1, don't judge yourself. Easier said than done. I know I'm working on that myself, to have radical acceptance of who I am, not to judge me. Sometimes people tell me, he talks about, this is Gary Vee, that they tell him that the negative voice that's in their head isn't someone else's, it's their own. But in reality, this voice that we have in our head, it comes from our blueprint from our childhood. It comes from experiences, maybe somebody, a teacher, a parent, a friend said something, and that became the voice in your head. And so many people judge themselves for this, and you just have to stop judging yourself. So I want to share and I didn't actually think about this as caring about what other people thought until I was thinking about this, doing this live video. And I'm doing this for me, this video. This is what I'm struggling with at the moment. And I hope it'll help you. So when I was in Argentina, I lived in Argentina for 18 months. And I went to this particular area, which was very difficult. And a lot of the missionaries didn't want to go there. It just was not the best experience for most of them. And so I went there, and I was determined to make a difference. And any of you who know me know that I have some, I'm pretty chill most of the time, but I also have a very bold personality, and I will speak my mind when needed and when called upon. And so I get there, and I decide, hey, we're gonna work to try and create unity and positivity. And I start working with the bishop to do this, and with the other missionaries that are there. But I was surprised at the backlash. I had some people screaming in my face, kicking me out of their houses. It was so much hatred that I don't think I've ever had so much vitriol and hatred directed at me, and by these particular people who portrayed themselves as good people. And it blew me away, and it broke my heart. I remember crying a lot. I remember being devastated. And I just, that thought just popped into my head today while I was prepping this. And had I been more secure in who I was, and but I was 21. I was young. But had I been probably a little bit better prepared emotionally, and I probably would have handled it better, and maybe not taken it so much to heart, because what I was doing was the right thing, and that the way they reacted had nothing to do with me. Obviously, it had to do with them, but I internalized it, and it was because I was worrying about what others thought of me. All right, number 2, surround yourself with people who are optimistic. This can be hard, when the people who are not optimistic are people within your immediate family, or close friends or extended family. And so Gary Vee does talk about this, and he says he's a who you hang out with is huge. It's a huge deal, and most people do not take it seriously enough. It really is. Now, you may not be able to cut all these people out of your life, and especially if they're close friends and family, but you can reduce the amount of time that you spend with them, or find a way to balance that out, right? Because it really can drag you down. So you'll be stunned at how your life changes when you eliminate negative people or reduce the time, and it will definitely improve things for you. Number 3, keep things in perspective. It said that people who would care a lot less about what others think if they understood that most people aren't even thinking about them. And that's so true, right? Aren't we all just worried about ourselves? And so everyone has enough to occupy their mind. Most of the time, they're not really even thinking about you or what you did. They move on like that. And so just keep it in perspective. And all right, number 4, let go of perfection. This is something I've been working on. It can be hard to shake the feeling that if you just get things right, you will be loved and admired. And I actually, like I've shared, I've been working with a therapist, and that was one of the things that I figured out, was that I felt I had to do certain things or suppress certain parts of myself so that I could be good enough and loved. And that's from, a blueprint from my childhood. And it can be hard to let go of this. And I love this. This is about, if you guys have not heard of Brene Brown, amazing. The Gifts of Imperfection, the book that she's written so many books. I've read it 3 times. It's really, really good. She said, and it says, at some point in our lives, something or someone may have made connection and affection seem conditional, and something we have to fight for and don't really deserve. A sense of shame develops as we inevitably fall short of perfection. She says, our author Brene Brown has studied shame. She says, healthy striving is self-focused. How can I improve? Perfectionism is other-focused. What will they think? So gotta let go of that perfectionism. All right, number 5, get to know yourself. What do you really like? What do you really want? Maybe you need to try something new. Instead of worrying about what others think, give it a shot. Maybe it'll be just the thing that'll change your life. And I gotta say, like joining network marketing, a big reason why I didn't want to do it in the beginning is because the huge stigma and what I perceived to be the truth about it from other people's opinions. And then once I actually felt that I should take the leap, it changed my life, you guys. It's been life-changing and the biggest blessing. And so what is it that you really want? Allow yourself to try new things. What would I pursue or enjoy if you were not worried about being judged? What would you do? So that's number 5. Number 6, find your tribe. This is so big. And I have found my tribe within my business community. Somewhere out there, there are people who can identify with you, and they're going to appreciate you for who you are. Don't waste time trying to hang out with those that don't. And cultivate authenticity. I love this quote from, again, Brene Brown, who is amazing. Daring greatly, because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. That is huge. So huge. All right, number 7, allow yourself to be vulnerable. I have another story to share in just a minute. All right, so it can be terrifying to go against the grain, to speak up, take a risk, or face criticism and disapproval. But decide what matters to you. Trust yourself and go for it. And this is like, seriously, if my husband was here with me on this live, we had a huge conversation about this today, because I had this big realization all my life. So I have this part of me, anybody who knows me well enough, you know, that for the most part, I'm pretty chill. But I'm very passionate, and I have very strong personality that pops out. And it's an important part of me. And I have carried shame about this all my life. To speak out, to defend others, to say things that need to be said, and say it, and it often is in a passionate kind of moment, and maybe it's kind of an emotional or sensitive topic, but I have the ability to speak out when others won't. But it's created shame in me. I feel shameful. Today I just figured that out. because I just did this the other day. I spoke out about something that was going on. I reached out to these people and I like, hey, I was like, what's going on? We need to talk about this. And I'm like, I expressed why. I'm like, this is a concern for me. I don't think it's right. I don't want to, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into details. And, the responses, one response was cool. The other response was, kind of the typical response I get when I express myself. And it triggers that, oh, I was too much. Oh, shame. Like, oh, why couldn't I have just waited, So, and this is something I'm learning, that these different parts of us, they're gifts and they're tools, and we can use them at different times in our life. And it isn't supposed to make you feel shame. And you're not, and the only reason I felt that is because I'm worried about what they think of me. But if you trust yourself and just, go for it and don't always play safe, you're going to grow, even though you may fail from time to time. And maybe, occasionally when I'm using this tool that I have, I do get a little carried away. But that's part of my nature. It's part of who I am. It's part of the gifts that I have and that I've been given. And so that's another part of learning to accept and love who I am completely. And that means taking these risks and not holding my tongue, because I have the gift and the ability to speak out and I'm not afraid to do it. And I know there are a lot of people who won't. And so if I can do it, then I will do it. And, I have been dealing with that struggle, and I realize it's been a struggle my whole life. And I just finally nailed it down to worrying what other people think about me. All right. So, number 8, know that you have full ownership of your feelings. When we base our feelings on other people's opinions, we're basically giving them all the power. When we give ownership, we give up our control when we give it to them. The only person that can hurt your feelings is you. And that is so powerful. When we realize that we're making up stories in our own head and we are causing the pain to us, and we're giving their opinions power over us, that is all on us. So you just got to learn to change your thoughts. It's something I'm working on as well. But that's something to think about. All right, number 9. Some people are going to dislike you and there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. This is a lot. I've learned a lot about this in the business. There are some really cool people out there that I just don't like. They just don't, our vibes. They just, we all have a different energy level we put out and different, way of functioning and living. And there's certain people that I'm sure they're just amazing, but I don't like them. And I know there's people out there that don't like me. And you're never going to convince them to like you. And that's just the way it is. There's always going to be someone that doesn't like you. So don't waste your time trying to expect everyone to like you. Instead, focus on valuing those few people in your life that are really important to you. Look to them when you need that help, when you need that validation. But don't look to other people who have no, they're not in the arena. They're not fighting out there in the arena with you. They're not doing the things you're doing. And if they're taking the time to criticize you but aren't out there doing the same things you are doing, just ignore them. And turn to those people that you really love and care about for that guidance when you need it. And trust yourself. All right, so again, preaching to the choir here. This is something I'm working on. All right, so remember, what's worse, having to deal with unwelcome comments from doing the things you want or not living your life to the fullest? Bad timing. My daughter's popping in. All right, so I'm going to recap the steps here, and then I have something for you. That's about all the time I have to share about this. There's so much information. Again, all right, so just lost my place here. Recap the 9 steps. Number 1, don't judge yourself. Number 2, surround yourself with people who are optimistic. Number 3, keep things in perspective. Number 4, let go of perfection. Number 5, get to know yourself. Number 6, find your tribe. Number 7, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Number 8, know that you have ownership over your feelings. And number 9, some people are going to dislike you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful at all, or if this is something you are struggling with, if you have dreams, you have goals, you have things that you feel like you are leaving undone in your life, and you really want to step it up, but you feel like you're really struggling with that, because I know at times, as much effort as I put into personal development, it's still a struggle for me. If that is you and you would like these sources that I was reading up on today. They're excellent sources, amazing tips. One of them is Gary Vee, and there's several with a lot of great tips on how you can stop worrying about what other people think about you. Just send me a message and I will send that to you. Just click on the Facebook message, send it to me, and I'll send it to you for free. All right, I hope those were helpful. Would love to hear from you. Please share with me if you have any tips on what helps you to stop caring what others think. Because I know there are the few of you that it's not a big deal, but for the most of us, it is still something that we're working through. All right, thank you.